Okay, so I just want to check in with you guys. Like, we just had a new moon, and I've been sharing with you. This is my aha for this year is I want to share with you all my new project I've been working on, and how I connect my creativity into like a holistic practice of keeping track of what's going on with me physically, listening to what's going on with me emotionally, mentally, what are the ahas, what are the fuck knows, what's going on, right? And the reason I share this is because I've been like working with trauma personally for about 30 years. Professionally, I worked with trauma for about 20 years. So the reason I share this with you is because once we get past whatever they want to diagnose us with, or once we get past whatever it is that they recommend that we ingest, or that what activity we should take up, it always felt like somebody was trying to put a band-aid over a gunshot wound. So I've come out of the trauma closet and I talk about trauma, specifically childhood sexual trauma, because at a certain point, it's like, to do it different, you have to first believe it can be different. Then you have to learn a new habit on how to do it differently. And then you just got to show up and do it without creating more trauma by being so pissed off and stressed that you are so unhappy and dislike these new habits so much that you're ready to quit. So what I've talked about in the previous videos, I don't know if you guys, for those who've been following on my IGTV channel, Bad Girl Mystic, what I launched into was, if we're going to dig into our transformation work deep, and if we're coming up against blocks from trauma, if we're coming up into those pits of poo of perfectionism and procrastination, then they say, okay, well, that's where the work is. But then that's the rub. If you've never done this before, you did not come from an environment with role models that were just rolling in the emotional and self-awareness. You have to go out and learn how to do this and how to replicate it for yourself and do it in a way that you enjoy it and you love your life, instead of feeling like you have to crack the whip going, oh, I should be doing this, I should be eating better, I should be journaling, I should be walking, I should be doing whatever it is we think is that key, that golden key that's going to unlock the trauma, and that we will no longer be in pain and will no longer be pissed off. And the truth of the matter is, it's like, that's the work. We have to go find out what choices work for us. So as far as we're, coming out of the new moon, and the new moon is great for starting new projects. For myself, my new project is this. I'm coming out of my Zen cave of taking a sabbatical of healing and taking a sabbatical from coaching and teaching. And, here's my Lloyd Dobler moment. Nothing to sell here. No practices, no clients, nothing. This is a random talking video of me sharing what I've learned about trauma and how to heal with trauma, specifically for women, because I've never been a dude. Specifically for childhood sexual trauma, I've had physical trauma, I've had been hit by a bus, been in car accidents, I've had emotional things go down, violent things go down, but everyone's trauma is different, right? So I've never been in a plane crash. Their trauma is going to be different than my trauma. It's based upon your experiences and how these experiences layer on to your nervous system, and how long have you been repeatedly going through these experiences over and over and over. And that's where we begin to start to unlock the groove, is we can look at our past and look at what phase of development that the experience happened, and what kind of beliefs and values were built around that experience. And as we begin to unwind it, we look at what we're at now, and is those beliefs and values, do they reflect where I am at right now? And most of the time, it's a fuck no. If it feels like a time bandit, if you're saying should every time you go to do that activity, then chances are this is a fuck no. This is something that you're no longer aligned with, that you are ready to ditch. You're ready to go. I no longer want to do this. I just have to look at the sunset when I'm watching it as it goes down. So for me, a lot of you know, my husband and I just recently moved into our motorhome, and we're very excited. And it's an idea and a dream we had been working on for some time, that we want to be more mobile. There's a bigger dream that this is even connected to. So one thing at a time, right? So we're still getting all settled in. I'm still nesting. I'm still figuring out where shit's gonna go. And this is my play. This is my art studio. I have this great long space I can dance in. I can do my soul train. I can, I can walk the boards. My first artistic training in love was theater. I am a kinesthetic learner. So for me to do anything, whether it's a piece of art, whether it's to write, whether it's to draw, whether it's speak, I need to first feel it in my body. So I walk the boards as I let it intuitively flow out. And then as I showed you all how I break down then those ahas and those ideas into mind maps, and how to put that project into a daily action. So whether it's a project for your health, where you're making a commitment to better fuel, commitment to movement, whether it's a project for your creativity, your big dream that's your heart's desire, whether it is to go out and contribute to the world, to save Mama Earth, to save children, wherever you're feeling connected. Is it to build a dream that you're the boss and you have that power not only to sustain yourself, but you have the power to sustain others? Where is it in the ladder of life do you want to go? If we've started at victim, we can't just jump to legacy. And we've also seen people who have shot to stardom on their mere talent, Janis Joplin, Amy Winehouse. We see crash and burns, right? So without taking a moment to deal with the shadows and secrets, that stuff, it slowly erodes and eats us up inside, and we stay on that destructive path, never feeling that we truly deserve the money and love and success and abundance that comes our way. So when we're at victim, want to go up, next step is survivor. And after survivor, and survivor is, just dog paddling. Shit went down, you've gotten away from it, you're changing your environment, but everything's hard and you're really angry. So to move out of that is independence, is where a lot of people, after they've gone to school, they've learned a new skill, they've changed their environment to a point where they can now be independent and float their own nut, right? Pay your own bills. You walk this world. You are responsible for you. Nothing is no longer seen as your fault, but everything is your responsibility. You're responsible for keeping your earth ship afloat. You're responsible for keeping your society ship afloat. Then the next step after the independence is influence, and then legacy, where, Oprah Winfrey's legacy. She's somebody who took her trauma and went, and not only did she share it and heal and create something amazing, she's now creating other things like schools and institutions that'll benefit others. Influence. Maybe you're a speaker, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're somebody who is professionally out in the world sharing what it is that you've learned. So once we identify where we're at, what's the next step? Where do we want to go? Then we get caught sometimes beating ourselves up because we feel like we've taken too much. We've taken too big of a bite. So that kind of happened to me a little bit, like this past, when I talked about dark moon and the eclipse, is this idea came through, but now it's like, it's time for me, new moon, go in and adjust the channels. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm adjusting the channels and finding the fit that works every day.